and she's hooked to the silver screen. But the film is a saddening bore, for she's lived it 10 times or more. She could spit in the eyes of fools as they ask her to focus on sailors fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's the freakiest show. Take a look at the old man beating up the wrong guy. Oh man, wonder if he'll ever know he's in the best-selling show. Is there life on It's on America's tortured brow. Mickey Mouse has grown up a cow. The workers have struck for fame, 'cause Lenin's on sale again. See the mice in their million hordes, from Ibiza to the Norfolk Broads. Rule Britannia is all the bounds to my mother, my dog and clowns. But the film is a saddening bore, for I wrote it 10 times or more. It's about to be written again, as I ask you to focus on sailors fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's the freakiest show. Take a look at the lawman beating up the wrong guy. Oh man, wonder if he'll ever know he's in the best-selling show. Is there life on Mars? Sailors fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's the freakiest show. Take a look at the lawn man beating up the wrong guy. Oh man, wonder if he'll ever know he's in the best-selling show. Is there life on Mars? Is there life on Mars? Is there life on Mars?
Hey, everybody, it's the top of the hour, so you've got a couple more minutes to grab a snack, get something to drink, get all comfy cozy, and share the link out with your folk who aren't already in the stream, because the Suzette Veneti Show will begin in about 2.5 minutes.
You tell me what you want and I tell you what you get away from me. You get away from me. Collected my belongings and I left the jail. Well, thanks for the time, had to think a spell, had to think a while, had to think a ocean breeze salty, won't you carry it in your head, in your mouth, in your soul? And maybe we'll get lucky and we'll both grow old. Well, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I hope so. Well, that is that and this is this. You tell me what you want and I tell you what you get away from me. You get away from me. Collected my belongings and I left the jail. Well, thanks for the time, had to think a spell, had to think a while, had to think a while. Will you tell me what you saw when I tell you what you missed when the ocean met the sky? You missed when time and life shook hands and said goodbye. When the earth folded in on itself. For your sake I hope you're really in heaven. Are you really there? Well, I won't hold my breath. You wasted life, why wouldn't you waste death? You wasted life, why wouldn't you waste death? Salty, won't you carry it in your head, in your mouth, in your soul? The more we move ahead, the more we're stuck in rewind. Well, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I hope so. Well, that is that and this is this. You tell me what you want and I tell you what you get away from me. You get away from me. Collect my belongings and I left the jail. Well, thanks for the time and thank you, spell.
Welcome to the virtual Stab Comedy Theater. It's time for the Suzette Veneti Show. Please welcome to your screen, Suzette Veneti.
Hey everybody watching, it's 5:03. It's the Suzette Veneti Show. Everything is right in the world. It's Sunday, December 27th. So if you have any New Year's plans, you got 4 days, 3 days? I don't know. I don't do math, but I am dressed like a scientist because we're going to talk about vaccines today. So I'm going to learn how to do some math really quick so I can understand what we're talking about. Anyhow, let's get into the show. This isn't a joke. This is a serious note. We do that sometimes. Once again, we start the show by acknowledging that an unarmed black man was shot. Andre Maurice Hill, 47, of Columbus, Ohio, was shot by police officer Adam Coy. Hill was simply visiting a friend and was standing in his driveway. Coy, the murderer, was wearing a body camera but did not have it turned on at the time. Coy, the gunman, was a police officer and had a history of complaints, including at least one for excessive force, resulting in a $45,000 payout to an actual criminal. Still got $45,000 because when Coy arrested him, he was a drunk driver, the guy, and then Coy slammed his head on the hood of the car 4 times, which is excessive force, which is why he got a $45,000 payout. Look, I hate drunk driving as much as anyone. Take away the license forever if someone gets caught. Fine, whatever. Give jail time. But you can't have police officers ripping people out of cars and slamming their heads against hoods for drunk driving or anything, really. Just driving and like what we saw this summer. So I digress. I'm sorry. According to previous reporting by the Dispatch, part of the USA Today network, Coy had 9 complaints filed against him in 2003, 4 of those coming in a, lost my spot, 1-month period. That's a lot. Coy received written counseling. The Dispatch reported at the time, maybe, this is just a thought, but maybe if an officer has that many complaints, Maybe they don't really like their community. I don't know. Maybe that apple is rotten, so like toss it out before the whole orchard looks rotten. Because if you just leave that rotten apple in, it just makes everyone, a lot of complaints going back 20 years. Should have seen this coming. So, also, this is hot off the presses. From USA Today, the Nashville bomber has been identified as Anthony Quinn Warner, 63 years old. I don't know anything about that. Not a joke. But here we go into the monologue with actual, I'm going to attempt jokes now. On Tuesday, Antonio Murdoch, 31, and Brianna Greco, 23, of Florida, of course, opened the emergency exit door on their Atlanta-bound Delta flight while it was taxiing for takeoff at LaGuardia Airport. Murdoch and Greco, both, of course, from Florida, were arrested and charged with second and third degree misdemeanors. When asked why they did it, they said, "We don't know. We're from Florida." So it seemed right. All over the state and country, what exactly counts as outdoors and indoors is a hot button issue. Eating indoors is forbidden. Eating outdoors was okay. But then people started building structures that looked like indoors but was outdoors and calling it outdoors. But we all knew it was indoors. And now there's a lockdown in Sacramento where we are, and no one can eat indoors at restaurants, and they're only open for takeout and delivery. No one knows what the answer is, and my heart goes out to all the restaurant and bar owners and employees. Also, in solidarity, I've changed my dating profile to only open for takeout and delivery. No indoors. It's been reported that there was a ton of sexual tension between John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John on the set of Grease when it filmed 42 years ago. When asked if there was sexual tension, Travolta simply said, yes. When asked to elaborate, he said, "I will not tell you more, tell you more." This just says stimulus checks, ? There's no joke. That's the joke. What's happening with them? In a follow-up joke to a previous episode, Tony La Russa, White Sox manager, was found guilty of drunk driving and sentenced to a very famous rich white person sentence of 1 day, which a judge agreed to allow La Russa to serve at home via home confinement. 1 day at home. He got jail time. 1 day in his house. He also got fined $1,383 and will have to do 20 hours of community service. So this racist drunk driving piece of shit got to spend his 1 day jail term at home. Fuck out of here. He should be fired. Staying in sports, coming from my hometown Pittsburgh, Steelers wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster has said he will stop dancing on the team's logos after it has become a distraction for his team, and now that journalists are asking his teammates and coaches about the dancing. So Smith-Schuster said he's done. So that means Juju will not hora on the logo. Christine Smythe, the journalist who fell in love with Martin Shkreli while covering the famous Farmer Bros court case, said that perhaps she was charmed by a master manipulator in Shkreli. That's because master manipulator is what they called his unlimited Viagra prescription. In local news, the Moderna vaccine has arrived in Sacramento as of Tuesday, and it agrees. Dating in Sacramento is the worst. An online petition to stop the opening of a church by a whites-only religious organization in the Minnesota town of Murdoch has obtained more than 120,000 signatures as of Wednesday. That's to stop the church from happening. The religious group seeking to have a white-only church said they just wanted to have a religious environment where they could eat their raisin-filled potato salad in peace and free from judgment under a ripped white Jesus statue. JK. They're super racist. Good job, Murdoch, Minnesota, for stopping that once you got 120,000 signatures that you needed, apparently, to stop it. Back to local news in the city of Sacramento, will be closing 6 miles of roadways to cars to promote more walking and bike riding. I guess that's just news. I didn't write a joke, sorry. Keeping it local, a CHP arrest was made. Oh, and related, a CHP arrest was made as the news reported a, quote, woman was clocked driving 125 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone. And she was 20 years old, and her car was impounded. I'm just excited that they think I look 20 years old. Taylor Swift lost her spot on a famous Nashville mural called Legends Corner. An image of Brad Paisley will replace the image of Swift, who was one of 14 legends alongside Reba McEntire, Willie Nelson, and Dolly Parton. No one is angrier than Paisley, though. All they did was put his face and hat on top of her body, and now the artist and Paisley, the artist Tim Davis and Brad Paisley, have bad blood. That's it. That's all I got. So let's get to the show. We're going to go with one of my favorite people, one of my favorite follows. I always ask him what the tea is, and he always serves it piping hot. So, peers and queers, join in welcoming to the show Clifton Ellison.
Ooh, Suzette, honey.
Yes.
What the journey. What the journey it has been.
It hasn't it?
So, 2 weeks ago, I had all intentions of coming on. Then I had that wonderful Popeye sandwich, and the Popeye sandwich just fucked me up.
Tell me about it.
Girl, it was bad. And then last week, I made the smart decision because, my anxiety was a little off the hook. And I was like, okay, I want to calm down before I do the show, mellow out and everything like that. And I don't know why I put so much pressure on myself because this is supposed to be fun. You're not supposed to be so overhyped. So I go to the little dispenser and I get some of these. I don't know if you can see these, but these are little sour string gummies. And, usually I'm new to the edible game. So I'm used to my pieces being like, 3 G's a piece, which is fine. So my dumb ass, I thought that these were 3 G's a piece. They're 10.
Okay, so really quick, I learned how to do math since I started the show. So you were doing 3 times the amount you thought you were doing.
Yes.
Okay.
So I had 2 pieces of that, so that would be 20 G's. And I was like, okay, I'm going to come on to the show. I'm going to talk my shit, and then I'm going to go to sleep. Girl, I couldn't even take off my tank top. I couldn't even put it back on. I booted up the computer, and then I saw myself because for the people that can't see, we're all in like a Zoom waiting room where we can see each other, but you can only see who we're talking to. Mm-hmm. But I saw everybody, and then I saw me kind of like, and I just saw that, and I was like, oh, no, I'm throwing up. I'm out. And I don't know why I said that. But I just did because I was so mortified and embarrassed. And so I just went to sleep, and I slept from 5 p.m. until like almost 2 o'clock in the morning. I was out.
That is a good sleep.
So lesson learned, kids. Read the instructions, read the fine print, because it may taste like Sour Patch Kids, but girl, that shit, boom. But I woke up, I was ready and refreshed for work the next day. I was off, chill and calm. This lady cussed me out, and this is how I knew I was still kind of high. She cussed me out, and it took everything in me not to laugh. She was so mad about something so trivial, and I was just, and then she was like, oh, do you find this fucking funny? And I was like, ma'am, it's gonna be Christmas. And that's all I said. And then she calmed down, thank God. But it was definitely an experience last Sunday. And poor Suzette, I felt so bad for you because I know you thought I died or something like that.
Oh, I was just worried about you. And like, because look, I can drink. Everyone knows I can drink. But edibles, just like it's the only time in my life I stop talking, which says something to me that like if nothing else makes me stop talking, but edibles do. I don't know what that's about, and I don't like that place. But I wanted to tell you, this is a good chance for me to ask you. There's a comedy show, and right now it's not happening, of course, because no live shows are happening. But there's a guy in Southern California. We've talked about him once on the show. His name's Billy Anderson, and he has a show called The Gateway Show, where the comics do their set. They do it for they do it like a 5-10 minute set, and then the next hour is a different show in the venue. They get really, really stoned with usually weed or shrooms or something, and then they come back an hour later and they try to do another set.
That sounds like a recipe for a mess.
I feel like you would want to see that show, especially if I was doing it, because I feel like I would just stare at the audience. I don't know if that'd be good or not, but...
See, I don't know why when whenever I'm high like that, I feel like I'm 13 again, and I'm trying to hide it from my parents. And that's how I felt last week. Because I woke up and I was like, wait, why am I hiding in my room?
It's not me. I'm not the mama. Is it Chelsea?
No.
Was it Chelsea's stern gaze that you were weary of?
No, Chelsea would probably be congratulating me, but
Yeah. No one can see the Zoom, but she's dancing and pointing at the camera. So yeah, she would.
no, it's that I grew up in a Christian household shame, you know.
Well, welcome to life outside of it. I mean, I know you've been here for a while, but I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're still not in that household.
Oh yes, definitely. You know, the celebrity has been kind of dry lately. I can't really think of anybody that's really been cutting up or anybody really worth talking about. Congratulations to the Christmas Queen. Mariah got her #1 again. You know, she deserves it. The girls talk shit, but she's like, hey, I still got the money every year. Every year you play my song. So you may talk about my vocals, you may talk about my weight, but every year you are playing my song. So I'm not even mad at her for that. I've been really binging a lot of Real Housewives. I've been watching Salt Lake City, which has been just a hot ass mess. You know, Mary Cosby's on there with her step grandfather husband. I don't. And it's just the fact that you're the only black girl on the cast and you married to your step grandfather, girl. Why you got to be the one? Let the white girls do that shit. We don't do that shit. We don't do that shit.
Could you imagine someone like a white lady in, I don't know, North Montana, watching the show, and she's never met a black person, and she's like, oh, that's what they do.
Yeah, they married their step grandfathers because their grandmother pushed them together before she died. What the hell? It's the right kind of mess. And then Potomac is ending tonight, which I'm about to get to after this, the reunion. And there was this big old fight. Long story short, this girl was talking shit. Her name was Candace. She kept talking shit the whole season on Twitter and everything like that. And so she told another girl, Monique, she said, what you gonna do? Drag me, Monique, drag me. She got dragged. Shouldn't have been talking shit. But you know how they do on these shows. They're like, I can't believe I got my ass beat on national television. Girl, you asked her to get dragged. Like, I don't understand it. Like, if you talk shit, you ask somebody to hit you, then they hit you, and then you want to cry and play victim. Where'd they do that at?
That happens a lot in life, though, right? Because they've never been hit. Like, if someone's been hit, they're not going to say, hit me. Once you've been hit, you know it's real. It could happen.
Yeah. And I will say shout out to her wig stylist, because that wig stayed stuck on her head, and it was just all shifted and everything like that though, but it was stuck on her head, you know, because you know wigs, they get a mind of their own, and sometimes they just want to evacuate the building. But no, her wig was stuck on the head after that ass beating though, which in my opinion she rightfully deserved. And thankfully the girl that did it, she got her contract for next season, so she'll be back.
I like it. And I don't think she's at fault. If someone says hit me and you hit them, that's kind of an invitation.
She was doing customer service.
Look, if I put up a sign and I say roast me and people roast me, I'm not going to that's not an invitation to anybody to do that. But if I do that on the internet, I can't get mad when people roast me.
Oh gosh, I'm trying to think. Suzette, is there any other celebrity tea this week that is really noteworthy of discussing?
I don't know. Everyone's being good and staying inside, I think. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah. I mean, Wonder Woman, it was cute. I mean, it could have been about 30 minutes shorter, but I mean, I'm not going to sit here and go on this whole like about it, because it's just like, for as much joy that has been sucked out of our lives this year, I'm not going to sit here and dissect the damn movie that's meant to make people happy. If you like it, I love it. If you didn't, I agree. And that's it. Now, the other movie I watched this weekend, which was the Disney movie Soul. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I was the same before I saw it. I was like, okay, right, here go another movie with a black person that's not going to be a black person for the whole movie. But he's actually in the movie a lot more than you thought. And also, too, go in it with an open mind. Just go in it just with no expectations, because Disney and Pixar always have a way of grabbing you from the heartstrings, grabbing your emotions like this. And that one right there, this one hit a spot, especially for us 30-somethings. I feel like 30 and 40-somethings, I feel like this one really hit a spot. And especially when you do like something in the arts or anything like that, it really hit a spot to me. I know Chelsea's making that face, so I can't wait to hear what she got to say. She didn't like it, but I liked it.
I liked it too. I watched it last night and I liked it. I am not black.
I mean, it's not the song of the South.
Right. But I read that they were originally, his character was going to be a scientist, and they were like, no, let's make him a musician. And then he was a rock musician. They were like, let's make him a jazz musician. So I feel like we won't talk about it much more because people get all upset with spoilers. But we can come back like in a week or two and talk about it, because I thought it was I went into it with no expectations, just like, let me see what this is. I didn't even know who was in the voice cast until
It was Jamie Foxx. I just realized that this morning.
No, I saw that because I pulled it up on Disney Plus, and it told me who, Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey. And I was like, all right, cool. All right, let me see what this is. And I was pleasantly surprised. So.
Yeah. Now I want to hear what Miss Chelsea has to say about it, because, baby, her facial expressions when I was talking, I was like, oop, oop. But I love you, Chelsea.
That could be something. I mean, that's something that Jesse would have to want to do. But like a Chelsea reaction cam when you're talking.
I think that would be amazing. Your reactions are everything.
Aren't they? They're the best. You should see them when I'm performing. They're classic,
Lord.
Ben. Okay, cool. Well, that's a good transition. Anything else? Or should we just get to
No,
Chelsea?
I'm just ready for Outside to open back up again so I can come back to the brunch and watch you twirl.
I'm working on stuff. I'm working.
This is the time to recharge and get some new steps and new move sets and things like that. And who knows, maybe you'll come out there and snatch somebody like that video I sent you.
Sasha Banks, my favorite wrestler. I don't know anything about wrestling, but go Sasha Banks.
I love you, Suzette.
I love you too, Clifton. I'm glad you're feeling better. Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you soon off
You
show.
too. Bye.
All right, bye. All right, Beers and Queers, that was Clifton Ellison. Also in the Twitch stream, I see that the Washington Post is reporting that Trump is signing the bill. And then I also got a message from someone else saying that is not exactly how the Gateway show is run. I'm going to stop talking about that show, and we'll just bring Billy Anderson on sometime maybe, and he can tell us about his own show. So don't take my description as an accurate depiction of the show. With that, let's get to someone that always has corrections for me because I need them. I love her. You love her. She's a great follow. She has multiple shows, multiple businesses. She's also an employee of her son making dog treats. Peers and Queers, give it up for Chelsea Bearce.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. Before we get further, I know you guys were just talking about Soul. I actually haven't seen it yet.
Oh.
And I haven't seen it. I know, Clifton. I know I was trying to convey that to you with my face, but it wasn't working. But I haven't seen it yet because I'm terrified of Pixar films, because I didn't know about Inside Out when I put that shit on. And then I put Inside Out on, and I'm questioning every feeling that I've ever had in my life. Like, I mean, it screws with you. You know what I mean? Like, they are like, what's the deepest psychological thing that we can destroy in your life, but make it cute characters so you still watch it, and then you question everything in reality. So I haven't watched it yet because I know that I'm going to be a blubbering, just soggy, crying mess. I know that. So, and now that I hear that it's talking about people like in the arts, and I'm like, damn it. Like, And if you have anything that's going on with your parents, it's probably going to affect you. Like, it's just like, see, Clifton shaking his head. See, it's just, no, I can't. I'm so terrified. And I need to be in a good mental place, you know, like not Clifton multiple, like sour gummy, you know what I mean? Like I need
20 grams of gummy.
Oh my God. Cause I'm just like Clifton, yo. Like I have 3 grams, like 3 milligrams. And I'm like, that's enough. I'm good for 2 full days. Like I am such a baby when it comes to doses that it's like, and it's true. A lot of doses come in 10s and I cut that shit in 4s. I'm like, nope, I'm terrified. Oh my God. So I know exactly what he's talking about because I have done that. I have made that mistake where you don't read and then you just end up hugging a wall. And it's like, why am I doing this? Like I've been there. So I get it. I am feeling okay. I'm actually feeling okay. I thought I was going to be in like this depressing state, you know, like the holidays, alone, 40 now. So it's like, I thought I was going to be that. But then I'm like, you know what? Then I had to look at it from a different lens. And I think this is huge advice for everybody because everybody's going through it right now. And then you feel like you don't want to be the downer who's like, hey, let me talk to you because I'm sad. And it's like, everyone's fucking sad, okay? I understand the point of like venting and like, let me get this shit off my chest. I get it. But sometimes you have to look at a different lens and realize the cool shit that we have done. Like we have adapted, yo. We have really adapted to what the world is now. You know, I never thought I'd be doing this much stand-up sitting on my damn bed. Like I never thought that would be a thing. You know, I also never thought that I'd move into an apartment the week of Christmas and be able to live by myself and my son. Like, I have to look at it through a different lens. We're doing okay. Is it what we are used to? Is it what we had before? No. Will it be like that again? No. And that's okay. We need to just understand that and move forward. That's the thing. Every time I hear people like, I want it back the way it was. I don't. Let's evolve. Let's move forward. Let's get better. That's what I want to do. So anyway, I'm so preachy today.
I like it.
But anyway, we're up to 7 people. Okay, this is great. We're doing great.
We're talking about vaccines. We're going to bring them all in.
I know, I'm so excited. So I feel like I haven't been on here in a while, like to have like a real segment. Because since I've talked to you, like, I don't even think I talked about my like Colorado trip. Do you remember I did that?
I remember, but we didn't talk about it.
We didn't talk about that, right? Okay. So for those of you that need the backstory, real quick, Cliff Notes is, I went to Colorado Springs and did a show and I met an audience member and we hit it off while I was on stage. Like I will flirt with literally everybody on the planet when I'm on stage, but that's where it ends. You can come up and talk to me. You can buy my merch. That's fine, but I won't talk to you again. Like this is just who I am. But with him, it was different. And I was like, yo, this is something. So we were texting for weeks after that. Every single day we would talk for 2 or 3 hours a day. It was just, I mean, it was amazing. And that's funny. We should call it Cliff Notes. I just got your text. That's very funny.
See, I'm funny. I'm funny.
Clifton, we named your segment. Oh my God. So then I ended up going back to Colorado to have a weekend with him, right? And just like have a first date, right? And it was incredible. It was such a great date. We hit it off like crazy. And then what ended up happening, well, I was super excited about it. I was super excited. And he was too. But what happened was when I left, he hit such a sad, depressing state. Like, you know, he was in a very depressed state because we couldn't be together. Because he's in Colorado, I'm in California. And he has 2 kids, I have 1. So we have the ex situation happening. And he was like, I don't see how this could work. And then he just put the wall up. Because he's like, I don't see how this can work. So why try? And just put the wall up. And that's when he like started texting me less. He wouldn't respond. He would just go 2 or 3 days without talking because if he pushed me away, which is a very middle school fucking mentality. You know what I mean? Like,
make some
the
eggs,
whole
sir.
pushing people away so that you're protected. Fuck you, dude. Like, there's two people involved in this. Don't be a fucking child. It drives me absolutely insane. So, and that brings me to my next point, which we'll get to in just a second. So, anyway, so it didn't work out, which is super sad because cut to the fact that his sister-in-law and brother were also at the comedy club when we first met, and his sister-in-law and brother want us to be together so bad, they contact me all the time. They're like, man, we really, he's talking about you and he brings you up all the time and he likes you so much. And I'm like, this is fascinating and so amazing to hear from you. But the person I really want to hear it from has cut me off because he's scared of what could possibly happen.
This is something I would like to explore. I have a friend who might be going through the same thing. So we can talk about that later, like off screen. But okay, I think good. This is a situation that I'd like to explore with you. Yeah,
I think it's like sociologically, it's very fascinating to me the way that people's minds work like this, because to me, if I have a connection with somebody and I'm willing to pursue this and to push forward, even if it's uncomfortable in the beginning because someone's going to uproot or someone's going to change their everyday life to see if this works. That's the thing. Any relationship you get into is going to be a level of gambling. There is going to be that level of unknown. You have to just take the plunge and eventually have some trust and faith in how your heart is feeling. If you lead completely with your head and you can't logically see how this shit's going to play out, you're never going to, that's not how this whole thing works. You're doomed from the beginning. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You have to have an element of make-believe, like of childlike wonder.
Huh?
I said you have to hold on to that like element of like, I don't know, a leap of faith, like from the Spider-Verse.
Right. Oh, the leap of faith thing. Yes, exactly. And to be completely honest, it wasn't that long. We talked for, I think it was maybe 2 months. But here's the thing. This was the very first person that I opened my heart to after my physically abusive engagement broke off. So the fact that I opened up my heart and I gave him this and I was willing to try and push forward and then I was just being shoved in the fucking gutter, it's heartbreaking to know that I was trying that hard. And there's at some point, you're not pushing for the relationship to strive. At some point, you're just forcing someone to be in something they don't want to be in. And that's when it's not okay. See, I got Clifton on my back. See, we need to start a podcast. So anyway, that's where we're at with the thing. So, cut to, I'm still incredibly single. If any of the 7 people watching, I put my red lipstick on today. Happy New Year, motherfuckers. But the other thing that I brought up was, that I wanted to talk about was just how important open communication is. Like, and that's in any relationship you have, whether it's platonic or friendship or, sibling, parents, romantic, any relationship you have, the communication thing I feel like is failing right now. And I don't know if it's because we can't see each other face to face, if everyone's tired of talking to a fucking screen. I don't know. But it feels like communication between human beings is just plummeting greatly. And I don't fucking get it. I feel like now, since we have all this time to reflect and be like with ourselves and like, see what's going on internally, we should be able to talk to another human being about what's really affecting us or what's affecting us collectively in the relationship that we're in with them. Okay, I have 2 groups of friends, 2 completely different groups of friends, and they're both going through very similar situations right now. And I feel like I'm stuck in the middle of both of them. Okay, because I hear what both sides are saying, but they're not coming to a common ground. And both of these friendships are now in jeopardy of dying because of clear, simple bullshit miscommunication. And it's like, if you just open up and talk to someone openly, also, you need to be okay with saying, you know what, I fucked up. I was wrong. It's not that hard. You actually become the bigger person if you're like, I fucked up. Can I fix this? I'm sorry that I wronged you. It's really fucking easy. And I have more respect for someone who openly will say that to me. Then it's easier for us to move forward and repair whatever damage has been done. So, woo! Do you have anything to add? I'll let you questions now, Suzette. Go ahead.
I just 1 second. That was a lot of heat. Okay. I think you're absolutely right. I think it's about open communication. That's really important. Even if it's with your mailman, like you said, with any relationship between people. Yeah. And I think it's not just COVID. Didn't Wall-E, like, how old is Wall-E? Like 10 years?
Dude, I feel like we're legit in the preface of Wall-E, like right now.
Yeah,
like
it predicted
all the
this.
all the mom and pop shops and small businesses are closing. Like it's all Amazon and Walmart and Targets, like the B&L, whatever it was in Wall-E. Like, I mean, it's like we're headed that way. We're headed down that route.
I was thinking that, but also the lack of interpersonal communication. We're becoming more screen and text.
With the self-checkouts and the fucking ordering groceries online and just drop them in my car. There's no customer service anymore. There's no face-to-face. There's no talking to people. And it's just, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. I mean, if I ever need to call somebody for customer service, I will avoid any of these like automated, just tell me a little bit about your problem. Why are you calling today? No, give me a goddamn person. Let's discuss it. It's those. So simple.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that makes your job and you more important going forward, like in society. And I mean that sincerely, like, because you do stand-up comedy, you know? And I think that is something that we've found is clearly better while you're making it work, and you've evolved to make it work, you know, through Zoom. It's such an in-person, intimate thing. And I don't mean intimate in any sort of weird way. It's just intimate in the truest definition of intimate.
Right.
I think maybe people can be inspired from that, you know? So maybe I don't know, maybe we need to talk about that as performers when we come back. Like, don't forget to do this in your regular, like, don't do this, don't come on stage, but talk to people. Talk to people in your life.
On the live shows that I was able to do, like before the 2 lockdowns happened and I was able to be on stage for a second, you know, like I would bring that up just to the audiences. I was like, be kind to us, you know, like we haven't been on stage in a long time, you know, it's like riding a bike. We haven't forgotten, but there might be some times where we slip and fall. Like, just be kind to us, you know. So it's I don't know, this whole thing. I mean, I feel like every career right now, you know, that's taking a hit on it is going to have this kind of relearning curve, this relearning phase of just like, how do we you know, but use this time, you guys, to really look internally and be the strongest version of you that you can right now. Cause I don't know when we're ever going to get this much time for ourselves back again, you know. Never. And when the world does open up, yes, it will be exciting. We can go out to eat, we can drink, we can hang out with friends. Awesome. That's great. But don't let this shit get the best of you. You know, like, it's a weird time right now. We're going to go into this new normal, whatever that fucking means. You know, but we really just don't lose the humanity, you know. Be honest with everybody, you know, don't put yourself last, but be a truthful human being. Like, let's just go into this with the best intentions and with the best versions of ourselves that we can, you know.
I like that.
All right, I've done enough. I'm going to go do a shot of something and watch 90 Day Fiancé before Nicole. Have fun with your little headliner. She's the cutest little half person you've ever seen in your life. She's adorable.
That sounds so mean.
She's fine. She's cute. She's little. She knows that.
You called her a half person.
But it's the good half. All right. Makes there.
Okay, I'll message you later. Love you. Bye.
I love you. Goodbye.
Okay, peers and queers, that's Chelsea Bearce. Send her some coin. Send Clifton some coin. Also, above my pretty little head, it's a little half head. Send Stab Comedy some coin. We're doing these shows for you, and love everything Clifton and Chelsea had to say. Thank you both so much for coming on. And with that, we're going to get, I forgot to try an intro again. We're going to get to my interview of the day. She is fantastic. She is a real person who also is in the stand-up comedy and comedy world, but she's not just a delinquent that does only stand-up comedy. She has a real career, and so it's really exciting to bring her on. And through her job, she has had some knowledge and some up-close and personal experience with the vaccine. So that's what we're going to talk about. Peers and Queers, join me in welcoming Nicole Eichenberg.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you so much for coming on. First, do you want to retort to Chelsea calling you a half person?
I guess she doesn't count the white half, which I'm fine with.
I was like, Chelsea, coming from you, like, I don't know. We're all half people here, but okay. So Nicole, what have you been up to during the pandemic?
I've been learning how to paint through YouTube. My friends and I do a weekly movie night where we watch some terrible movie and we talk about it on Messenger. And I bought a saxophone and I'm trying to learn how to play it. So that's been my pandemic.
What kind of saxophone?
Alto sax. I've always wanted to learn how to play, and why not? Why not now?
Very cool. Very cool.
Thank you.
How's it going?
Not super well so far. I had COVID and my lung capacity is still not back up to par, but we'll get there. It'll be okay.
Yeah, lung capacity is good. It's not a woodwind, or I mean, it's not a brass, but you still need some lung capacity with a woodwind. Let's put a pin in you having COVID. Let's come back to that. Let's talk about your day job. What is your title?
So my title is Medical Assistant 1, and the number doesn't really mean anything. It means I make $1 less than the twos.
Okay.
But basically, I'm like the person when you go to the doctor who like gets your vitals and gives you the shots and calls you with results and whatever random stuff the doctor doesn't want to do, they kick to us, and that's my job.
So you're a medical assistant half person, not a whole person getting an extra $1. You can't go into specifics, of course, because of HIPAA and things like that. But sometimes funny stuff must happen at your job, in your line of work, right?
All the time.
Can you give us?
Sarah, actually, I will. I would love to give you an example, and this is more than 12 years ago, so hopefully no one watching is familiar with the story. But a guy came in because he did a bunch of meth and he put an Asian pear up his rectum followed by taxidermy foam, which apparently expands upon contact, which is a thing that I know now. So the ER was chipping foam out of his anus.
I have a lot of questions. I don't know if you have answers, but why an Asian pear?
I don't know. At least a regular pear, it's a little bit taper, but the Asian pear is just round. It's like that's some hardcore commitment to sticking fruit in there.
Also, why do you know? That's not my kink. I'm not kink shaming. Everyone has their own. But do you know what pleasure he derived from sticking fruit in his rectum?
I never asked him, and that was not his only time coming in with foreign bodies that needed to be taken out. Looking back, I wish I'd asked more questions. It was a lost opportunity.
Were the other foreign bodies fruit or edible?
I think some were. I think one was like the remote, one was a perfume bottle. It's like, I'm kind of scared to go to this guy's house, so you don't know what's been where.
And then taxidermy foam, that is dedication to figuring out what's going to be the best thing to, I guess, seal the item in. The human body can do amazing things, and I didn't know it could do that. I just learned something.
I'm so glad this is educational.
Anything else? Any other stories, or just foreign bodies and rectums?
We did have one guy came in for his vasectomy, and I didn't realize someone had scheduled his ex-wife like right after, and so we were like hiding them on separate sides of the clinic. That was an interesting day.
What was can you tell us what she was scheduled for?
I don't remember. It wasn't anything as exciting as that.
And
But,
how did you know they were?
yeah.
How did you know they were exes?
Oh, I've been working for the company I work for a super long time,
Mhm.
because they had been married when they first started coming in, and then they separated, got divorced, and he got a new wife, and then she was there with the baby too, so it was a whole hot raggedy mess.
Remind me later. I have something interesting to tell you about this thing, and I always forget, so you'll have to remind me.
Ooh.
Okay, so this year has been different, of course, because there's been a global pandemic. How has this year been different for you specifically as a medical assistant, one half person?
Well, I've still been going to work every day. I'm glad I don't work at home because I don't want these people at my house. But it's a lot more precautions. Like we have different, like a respirator we can use. We have isolation areas. We try to keep people who are sick out and just do video visits or telephone visits, send them to a different place to get tested for COVID. And one thing I've learned, a lot of people are not handling the change well. And I hope they adapt to it because like Chelsea said, things are changing and it may never be the way it was. And we're going to have to learn to adapt to it if that's the case.
Give me an example of a way that people aren't handling this well.
It's a lot of the anti-maskers coming in or like saying they can't breathe. And it's like, well, I've been wearing this mask since 7 o'clock in the morning and you've had it on for 5 minutes and you act like you're dying. But anyway.
Right. They're not from the Midwest where you wear a scarf around your face.
Obviously not.
Well, I'm glad that you're handling it well. Have you encountered many patients with COVID-19?
Yes, I've encountered a couple. One actually back in June came in to get tested for COVID and coughed directly in my face when she took her mask off, so that was super fun. And so a lot of it's boomers, which doesn't surprise me as much as maybe it should.
Was she aware that she took her mask off and coughed in her face? Like, did she apologize, or was she oblivious?
No, just oblivious. I'm not even sure some people know that we're human beings.
Oh, medical assistants and doctors and.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people think that maybe you're just There's an element, and I don't feel this way, but I feel having friends that work in that field. And then friends who are teachers and friends who work in all sorts of fields like this, there's an element of like, well, you don't matter. You're there and you don't matter to my life, which is garbage because everybody matters. So, except Nazis, they don't matter. So you mentioned you had COVID-19. Did you get it from this boomer that coughed in your face?
No, this I actually got because the doctor I work for went to a funeral with 400 people who were not social distancing or wearing masks. And then he came to work and coughed in my face repeatedly without a mask on. And that is how I got COVID. And it's the stupidest reason ever.
You said a funeral?
Yeah, someone in his wife's family passed away. So he went there and then was hugging and kissing like 400 different people. And of course, some people got COVID. Probably actually a lot of people got COVID from that. And so then I got COVID too.
And then he coughed in your face. So, okay, I've heard about doctors that like don't wear masks or don't think that it's contagious. That's confusing to me.
It was very confusing to me too. I think he gets overly comfortable because when I have to go to his office, like 5 million times a day, he is supposed to have a mask on, but he wasn't wearing a mask. And then he coughed in my face, and I said, dude, that's jacked up. You were just at a funeral. Stop doing that. And then he coughed in my face again as a joke, and it wasn't funny. And I got even less funny as time went on.
Yeah, that's not funny at all. I think that actually has been classified as like a crime at this point, to cough in people's faces on purpose. Okay, so you know how you got it. What symptoms did you get?
Ooh, fever, shortness of breath at rest and with exertion, sore throat, extreme body aches, the point where I was like looking up if I could learn witchcraft to make myself levitate because it hurt to like lay on the bed so much. Nausea, uncontrollable diarrhea, which I got the vaccine. I would get it every day if I had to, just to never poop my pants that much ever again. It was so embarrassing and so terrible.
So okay, so one reason to get a vaccine so you don't poop your pants a lot. Also, a reason to fill your rectum with taxidermy foam. Just saying. He was trying to teach you something.
I never thought about that.
It could have helped.
Hmm.
I don't think it would have helped in a good way, but it could have helped save your pants. How long did you experience? What's the correct way to? I'm just dressed in a lab coat. I'm not actually a doctor. But what's the correct way for me to ask this? How long did you experience the symptoms? How long did you have COVID-19? How long were you afflicted? What would be the right way for me to ask that question?
Afflicted is a good one. How long was the duration of your symptoms is another good way to put it. So the new CDC recommendation, which came out right before I went out on COVID leave, was that after 10 days, you are considered no longer contagious.
Okay.
So my work basically said, okay, 10 days after this, you can come back to work. You're good and clear to work again. So I went back to work. Recovery, like I still get really short of breath a lot. And so I guess I'm still recovering from it. Some people, I mean, have like really long-term effects, and we're figuring that out because it's all so new.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish I had a better answer for you. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So you were, how long did you experience the symptoms?
Honestly, I think I still have it a little bit right now. I'm still short of breath a lot.
Okay. And when did you contract the virus?
I would have gotten it probably around the 16th of November, and then I got symptoms like 12 days after. So
Okay.
like late November, around like right after Thanksgiving, I started to get it, and then I went back to work like early to mid-December, and yeah.
Okay. So the
Still
time
huffing and puffing.
the time frame is you got it like maybe the 16th of November, which was a Monday, because I know what everyday Sunday is. And then even though you can go back to work in 10 days, because you're not, what's the word? Help me out. I'm forgetting it.
Contagious?
Thank you. You're not contagious.
Thank
You still aren't. You still aren't feeling better. So you work for obviously in a medical field. Do they not understand that maybe you're not healthy enough to come back to, even though you're not symptomatic? Well, you're symptomatic. You're not contagious. Like maybe you're not ready to come back to work and go through the vigors of your job.
They said I could go see my doctor and get more time off. Honestly, I was getting kind of bored at that point, and thankfully, like, work wasn't too rigorous next week, so I kind of just got to like do a lot of desk work and chill. But the funny thing is too, when employee health asked me, where they're trying to figure out like when I first started having symptoms, they're like, well, how long were you like tired and then having body aches? And it's like every damn day, because that's what being an adult is.
I was gonna say since I turned 35.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you're still recovering, and we don't. Some people, it seems, are asymptomatic, but they have it. Some people get respiratorily afflicted. Some people get cardiovascularly afflicted. There's COVID toes, which means something different than how I use COVID toes. Do you have any advice for anyone that thinks they might have it or thinks they might be exposed to it?
My biggest thing that I can say, if you think you have COVID or you've been exposed, please self-isolate. Don't pass it on to other people. I mean, it is true that like 99% of people recover, but I mean, you don't know who is immunocompromised. You don't know like who's going to go visit their sick grandparent and take care of them. That would be my biggest piece of advice, is please stop spreading this to other people. Dear God.
And get tested. You know, you can get tested, and that will help you be informed. There's also an app. I'm a little bit worried about the app personally. I don't know if you have any feelings, but like the contract tracing app, I feel like it's just going to incite panic within me, because it's going to be like, oh, you've been near someone with COVID, and then I'll be like, I don't know how it's possible not to at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I turned it on just because I was curious, like from an academic standpoint of how it works, but again, like working in healthcare, probably be like, hey, you were exposed to somebody with COVID. It's like, great, so it's a Tuesday. But I need to research that more and get back to you on that, to be honest. I haven't looked into it a whole bunch.
Well, and it also relies on people saying that they have COVID and self-reporting, which I've heard a lot of people out there don't want to tell people when they have it, or like I've referenced people like taking flights even though they knew they had it, and it's like, what are people doing? So you had COVID, and you recently got the vaccine. Okay, cool. Let's talk about vaccines.
All right. So I'm a tier 1 healthcare worker, so I was in one of the first groups to get the vaccine. It was super awesome. Like, I went down to the medical center, there's RNs that are watching you. There's 2 LVNs who are watching you while you're getting the vaccine. I got the Pfizer one, which is new technology. It's messenger RNA, mRNA, which basically integrates into your cells and teaches it how to make proteins that start the immune response, which is what leads to the antibodies, which give you immunity. It's the first vaccine licensed for use, I believe, of this type. So it's really exciting to be a part of history and be one of the first groups to get it. So super psyched about that. Okay,
so I'm going to go back and clarify a couple things. So tier 1 medical tier 1 is the best. So this is not like how you're a medical assistant 1 and you get less money than medical assistant 2. Tier 1 is a higher tier than tier 2 in this case, right?
It is.
Okay.
I think
so like basically like the people that most need this right away because they're the highest risk.
Yeah, it's like people in the ER in the hospitals and people who do patient care in outpatient clinics. I believe tier 2 is support staff who do admin stuff, and I think tier 3 is research and other people who aren't so much like involved in patient care.
Oh, like bench scientists.
Don't quote me on that. Yeah,
sure,
that kind of thing.
The people who make the vaccines. Okay, so and then you said when you go down to get the vaccine, so it's given underground, or is that just? Am I reading into that too much, or is it just on a different floor?
Oh, it was actually on the ground floor. It was actually super hard to find because I don't work in the hospital. I work in one of the satellite clinics in a different city. So basically I got lost in what was like a very basement-y area of the ER, and finally I found it. So yes, it is a little bit like underground, and also I think because my work is north of where it is, we just always say we're like going down to the med center.
I see. Okay, so that was just colloquial. Okay, so and then you said LVNs and RNs are watching you. So I know RNs are registered nurses, right?
Yeah, LVNs are licensed vocational nurses. They are like in the hierarchy of nursing stuff. It's like there's the nursing assistants, the CNAs, LVNs, who do a lot of like IVs and injections in clinical and hospital stuff. And then the registered nurses, who most people know. And then there's like nurse practitioners and advanced practice nurses too. But I'm going off on tangents now, sorry.
That's okay. Forgive me for being ignorant on this. But as a medical assistant, I would have thought that was, because you said you give results and you call patients. So that's not actually being a nurse. That's being a nurse is
It's not.
What's the main difference?
The nurses, well, the system where I work too, it's a little bit wackier because the medical assistants don't work in the hospital. We just do outpatient. And in our hospital too, they actually don't even have LVNs in the hospital. It's all RNs doing everything.
Okay.
So in most of them, there's like LVNs doing like a little of the lower level stuff than RNs, and then CNAs do like the lower level stuff below that. And then the medical assistants aren't involved in the hospital side at all. Like we're just doing outpatient type stuff.
Got it. Okay. So you went down and they had different tiers of nurses watching and administering the vaccine. I've read that it has to be really, really cold when it's shipped. Is it really, really cold when it's administered?
I couldn't tell, but I also have neuropathy, so I might not be the best source of information on that part.
And what is neuropathy?
Oh, I get like random numbness and like tingling in random places. So I don't know. It's a hot, raggedy mess. I don't know what I'm feeling.
That's also part of being an adult, I think. Okay.
That's true.
So you got the vaccine. Did it hurt?
It did, and it was pretty sore. I'd say it was about as sore as like when you get the tetanus shot. And other than that, I just had like general body aches and like a headache. I was not pooping my pants, so still way better than COVID. So I can definitely say having COVID versus getting the vaccine, get the vaccine. It's much, much easier on you.
How long?
Oh,
were
it's
you,
2 doses too.
How long were you sore and symptomatic from the vaccine?
Not that long. I got the shot at 8 a.m. Saturday morning, and I was back to work Monday morning at 7.
Okay. And those are times that I don't exist in the morning. You said it's 2 doses. How long apart are the doses?
So the Pfizer ones, it's exactly 3 weeks apart. So I'm getting my second dose on January 9th. And then the Moderna one is exactly 28 days apart.
Oh.
So just if you get your vaccine, pay attention to which kind you get and when they tell you to come back, because that is very important right now.
I wonder, do you happen to know why the difference in time between the 2 vaccines?
You know, I would have to research and get back to you on that. Probably relating to the different, maybe the efficacy of how they made it and the different, you know, immune responses. But yeah, definitely I will research that more, and then whether I'll get back to you or just for my own education, it'll be good to read up on that.
Sure. And anyone can do this. We're just kind of starting the conversation here. So you said you had the Pfizer vaccine, and it's new, the technology, because it's using mRNA, which is messenger RNA, and so it's teaching the cells things. What happens to the mRNA once the message is passed along?
So I'm going to kind of I'm going to go a little bit back to go into like DNA and RNA. So DNA is double-stranded. The purpose of it is to store and transcribe information to make more cells or do whatnot with it. The RNA is only single-stranded, and basically it just codes amino acids which make proteins. So the mRNA gets into your body and it's making these proteins. And as I said before, it's stimulating the immune response, leading to antibodies. And I don't know, I'm nerdy and I like this kind of stuff. Like I like being a part of, you know, of new things and trying it. And I hope, you know, if you're afraid, that's okay. And you can ask questions, but definitely, I don't know. I don't want to get into bashing anti-vaxxers, so I'll shut up.
No, that's okay. I'll say even as an educated person, I like to think I'm educated. I don't know a lot about the science of it all. So when there are so many people saying that it's bad, that it's bad, that it's bad, that's dangerous, it's dangerous, it starts to kind of weigh on your conscience a little bit, and you start to wonder, is it bad? But they're giving, I think a friend of mine pointed out, they're giving the vaccine to tier 1, and you just said, to tier 1 medical professionals. So they probably wouldn't be giving it to you guys if it was bad.
You know, I certainly hope not. And you do have to put a little bit of your trust into the science community too, because I mean, my degree is in microbiology, but it's like I've never done vaccine research. And so at a certain point, it's like you have to accept the primary sources and kind of know it's like what makes up a good sample size for research, and like, you know, what makes up good science. And a big thing is primary sources, which basically it's like, okay, so we're the people doing research. Where things get kind of mucky is like I don't want to call it YouTube, but like YouTube videos with some random Yahoo with no background in science, like saying what he thinks it is. I mean, it's fine to have an opinion, but it's like, I wish it would be an educated opinion.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Well, and I think that if we learned anything in 2020, it's that people either trust science or they don't, and that's kind of weird. I don't know why anyone doesn't trust it. Okay, so did I miss the answer? What happens? Because I know that's some people's concern. When the message from the mRNA gets to the DNA cell, what happens to that material that comes from the vaccine?
Your body makes an immune response, and eventually it just flushes stuff out. It's like, so a lot of the way things work too, and like how things get out of your body, there's a lot of like proteins with receptors that are trained to latch onto things like antibodies, and then those eventually will get flushed out of your system. Like I'm not a cell biologist either, and I don't want to like get into it and like do like a hardcore science lesson that'll take us to like 9 p.m. But basically, once it's done what it needs to do, it's like your body will get foreign materials out. That's basically what it's designed to do, except an Eichenberg-ep your rectum that you need to go to surgery for.
Well, I mean, if you block it, the path out with taxidermy foam, it's not coming out.
Yeah.
So because that's one concern that I've read is people are scared that the DNA is going to take the message from the mRNA and it's going to change it, like the DNA coding will change. So one concern that I've read is that you will take on the RNA and become a chimera. Or, okay, tell me why that's stupid.
So see, I still have a cough.
Well, you're not coughing in anyone's face, so.
Yes, just coughing at you digitally. So basically, like the entire purpose of the RNA. So I'm trying to think of a way I can make this make more sense if you don't have a background in like genetics and stuff. Basically, it does what it needs to do. It makes the proteins, and it doesn't stay there. Like it goes. Okay. So like it does what it needs to do. The proteins are made, and then it goes away.
So it sounds like somebody who's dropping off food from Postmates. Like it gets you.
Yes, that is a.
It brings you the food, and then leaves.
Mm-hmm.
You don't become that person.
No, or the food either.
You don't become the food. You just get what you need from the food,
mm-hmm.
and then your body expels
mm-hmm.
the waste and takes up on the nutrients that it needs.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
That is a perfect analogy. You should post that because you're brilliant and you're beautiful too.
Thank you so much. You know, I
You're
try
welcome.
I try to look smart sometimes. Okay, so you get what you need from the food. You expel the rest. You don't take on the characteristics of the messenger that drops it to your door. So you're not going to be a chimera. And what can you define what a chimera is for the audience?
So a chimera, oh my God, how can I do this? So basically a chimera is something with two different sets of DNA that is living as one organism. And so it's like there are technically organisms that will have two different DNAs. Like a lot of animals have it. Like I think it's possible in humans, but like not as common for various reasons based off the genome. But yeah, like have you ever seen animals that have like, you know, like one side looks way different than the other side? Like that might be a chimera.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. So another concern I've seen is people becoming the opposite gender because the genetic material is originally derived from a male, and so by getting the vaccine, they could become a male. That's not how vaccines work either. So you won't become another species. You won't become another gender. It's just you're getting the information you need from the vaccine, and the rest of it's leaving you alone.
Is that why I grew balls? Just kidding. I didn't.
That would be a side effect that would be interesting to talk about. What about people that are concerned about microchipping and 5G coming from the vaccine?
I would say it would cost so much to put microchips in the vaccines too, along with everything else, and no one cares enough to microchip the vast majority of people. And as far as 5G, cool, maybe I'll actually get some phone reception for once.
I think everyone at this point has shared or talked about the fact that like all the people that are scared of being microchipped are posting it to their Facebook from their smartphone. And it's like, well, I don't think you need to worry about being microchipped. Okay, so that is kind of, you explained why people should get the vaccine, and there are, you know, risks of getting some of the symptoms, but far outweighed by the benefit is far outweighs the detriment of getting actual COVID.
Yes, and like, so the side effects for the vaccine, which I got all the side effects, woo! So it's like pain at the injection site, redness, swelling, low-grade fever, headache, body aches. And there's always a small risk of anaphylaxis, which is where, like your throat swells and you can't breathe. So, I can't say no one will have that because obviously statistically someone will at some point. But if you do have any symptoms like that, please let your doctor know. If you have any vaccine allergies, please let them know before you get a vaccine. Or if you pass out when you get shots or give blood, let them know too. Please, knowledge is power. Communication, like Chelsea said.
Like Chelsea, communication is important with every relationship, including the one with your health care provider. Okay, so if anyone has any questions about the vaccine for you, they could message. They could talk to their doctor. You probably don't want people messaging you personally, but at the same time, you have had it. So are you open to that if people have questions?
I'm open to that. And,
Okay.
Like I said, if I misspoke, please feel free to message and correct me too. It's been a long time since I've worked in a lab environment, and, I'm happy to answer any questions people have or hear your stories.
Okay, well, so we're pro-vaccine, and everyone should get it when it gets around to you, which I am. I just look like a tier 1 medical professional, so I'm not going to get it for a long time because it's not just based on looks. Okay, so you also do, let's move off of that in case anyone has questions in the chat. You also do comedy.
I do. It's actually been just around 4 years. And actually, my very first comedy friend was David Shapiro.
Oh, I'm
So
so
he always
sorry.
has a place in my heart.
He's a he's a travesty of a person, but how nice that because sometimes people don't make friends in comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that you have a
And
friend. I'm sad that it was him.
Thank you. Aw. Well, now you're my friend too.
I think that's an upgrade. So you started 4 years ago. What's it like to be what's it been like to be, and if any comic has any feelings about me asking this question, they should re-examine themselves. What's it been like to be a well-adjusted person doing stand-up comedy and not just a regular kind of degenerate comic?
Honestly, it's been a trip. I've had people tell me to quit my day job and do comedy full time, which thank you for the endorsement, but I really need health insurance. It's a lot of, okay, here's my big thing with comedy too. And I think Chelsea touched on this a little bit. It's like when there's an argument, especially like in the Facebook group for Sat Comics, it's like I feel like everyone has to jump on the bandwagon and give their opinion. It's like not everyone has to like weigh in on every personal argument between people. So that's been like my big beef because I feel like, we're adults and I'd rather spend my free time like not fighting with people on the internet.
So is that kind of your take as a normal person with a normal job? Like there's just a lot of fighting and you don't need to be part of that?
A lot of fighting and stupid drama.
Yeah, you can
there's also, I've had great experiences too, but good grief, there is a lot of drama.
You can get your drama from Real Housewives. There's a lot of different cities and seasons. That's where we here on the Suzette Veneti show endorse getting your drama. Tell me about the good times of being in the comedy community.
One of the shows that I've really liked doing, one of my favorite ones actually, is The Shoe Was on the Other Foot, which Suzette used to do a lot. And that was very fun because it was comics who don't normally do drag who would dress in drag and then do comedy. And it's stepping outside your shell and taking on a new persona. And I really love that because everyone's very open and loving and huggy. And that was a lot of fun. It
was. And I can't wait to bring it back after, when we can get back to real life. I do like it because and we started bringing in drag queens who had never done stand-up comedy to try comedy. So thank you for saying that because that is that was always a fun show because like you said, it put people kind of in a different headspace where they were comfortable yet uncomfortable in a good way. Thank you. I will make sure to bring that back and let you know about it as soon as I can.
Yay.
So you haven't done that in a while because I haven't done that. Oh God, it's probably been 2 years since I produced that show because I lost the venue that I used to do it at, and I just haven't. It needs the right venue, and I think Jesse and I have talked about maybe doing it here, and that would be really cool. If when everything can open up again. But what else have you done in the last 2 years since I've sucked and not done that show?
Aw. Just I have been co-hosting Willie Listen with my friend Willie Travis, which is usually at Stab Comedy. We're trying to convert it now to an online format. We're streaming, and then I've been doing Capital Punishment around once a month or so, which is every Tuesday night at 8:30. It's a really awesome pun show on Twitch. Definitely check that out at Capital Puns.
Okay. So that one is a pun show where different comics battle by making puns, and so it's like a pun battle. What is Willie Listen about?
So Willie Listen is basically, we have one guest, and then we all pick a bunch of songs off a theme, like Back to School or like New Year, and then we play the song and try to guess whose it is and get into our personal stories behind it, comment on other people's picks. It's like a really fun, I don't know, it's almost like a hangout with your friends who are just talking about music. It feels very intimate.
Very cool. Okay, and that's usually at Stab in person, and I imagine if you guys do it, it would be maybe through Stab's Twitch. I don't know.
We shall see. I'll talk with Willie and Jesse and try to work on that, so stay tuned.
Okay, and people can follow you on your Instagram to kind of see where that show's going to be, and they can certainly look up Willie Travis and find him and see. I'm sure he'll put out a poster or something when the show's coming back. And Capital Puns, like you said, is on Twitch. Nicole, that's the end of my proper questions. Was I not smart enough to ask you anything?
No, you did an amazing job, and there are even some questions that I had a hard time with, which is good. It made me think, so thank you. It was a very thorough, thoughtful interview.
Thank you. I try. So I'm going to ask you rapid fire questions before I let you go. Is that okay?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. Nicole Eichenberg, here we go with rapid fire questions. So you've done the shoe show with me. So would you say you have a favorite wig color?
Red.
Red. Okay. Do you name your wigs when you get them?
No.
Okay. I don't either. When you put on a bra, do you clasp it in front and spin it around, or do you clasp it in back with abnormal superhuman arms?
No, I use sports bras and I pull up from the bottom because I'm lazy.
Oh, so you go all the way over and then pull up, or do you go? Do you like pull up from your feet?
I pull up from my feet.
Really?
I don't know why I do that. I'm weird.
No, that's okay. Maybe that should be a question. Sports bras, do you go over your head or up from your feet? How high is too high for high heels?
For me right now, 4 inches.
4 inches. Why right now?
I am getting older. I'm 36, and I can't balance the way I used to, and my feet hurt.
Ma'am, I just want to point out that I'm 37, and I'm still at 6-inch heels. So age is nothing but a number. Okay, let's see. Where were we? Heels. If you were performing tonight in stand-up comedy, what would your walk-up song be?
Staying Alive, maybe.
on kind of on theme. What is your favorite recurring show to perform in?
I think right now Capital Punishment. It's a really fun show. Seriously, check it out.
Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. What is your favorite venue to perform in?
I have a soft spot for Luna's. The first place I ever did an open mic or a show.
Probably where you met David Shapiro also.
Yep, where I met that dude.
What is the funniest thing an audience member has ever said to you after a show?
I had someone's grandma who was like 96 ask to follow me on social media after one of the Capital Punishments.
In person or online?
She asked in person, and then she asked again online. It was super cute, super nice lady.
Does she still follow you?
I believe she does, unless she deleted me. I'm gonna have to look into that later.
Well, I hope she still follows you.
Me too.
Who is your favorite comedian?
I think locally, Kyrie Shabazz. He is freaking hilarious, and every new bit he does is knocking it out of the park.
It's a really good choice. One of my favorites, too. What is your favorite thing about the existence of brunch?
Day drinking with your friends and making memories.
Absolutely, day drinking. I'll have to get you to come to my brunch when it comes back to happenings.
Yay!
Do you want to answer this question? Some people pass. You can pass on any of these. What's your favorite sexual position?
It's been almost a year of celibacy, so I'm gonna pass.
Right? Like you forget at some point. You're like, any of them? I
Yeah.
don't know. With a person? Do you cook or bake?
Both, but I'm a better baker.
Better baker. Why would you say that?
I think because for me, baking is very exact and it's more like science, and I like that about it.
Yes, that is also why. Speaking of David Shapiro, we argue he's a cooker, I'm a baker, and I like that it's just follow the directions and be exact and make the precise recipe. And then you have whatever you made. If we're at the bar after a show and someone's buying us shots, what are we shooting?
Tequila or whiskey?
Ugh, what kind of tequila? What kind of whiskey?
Okay, decent tequila and whiskey, though. I feel like we're at the point where we can't do like the bottom shelf plastic jug anymore.
Yeah, that is an age thing. I would also it should be an everyone thing, but okay, so you don't care what kind of tequila or whiskey, just good tequila or whiskey. Okay, I'm gonna let you have my shot unless it's good whiskey, and then maybe I'll take it. If we're at the bar and someone's buying us drinks, what are we drinking?
Something top shelf. Maybe like a really nice bottle of wine, or if they have Japanese whiskey, then Japanese whiskey, because that stuff's expensive.
I like that you're open to, whatever is available, but you still have your parameters, to use the sciencey term. Okay, maybe the most important question, toilet paper, over or under?
I used to not care, but definitely over now. Once I've had that uncontrollable diarrhea, it's so much easier to grab from the top.
Okay, we talk about this sometimes. How did you not care? How were you apathetic to the toilet paper direction?
I was young and stupid. I didn't know any better.
So your ignorance had you not caring, and then when it became an issue because of 2020 and COVID, you cared, and it was to put it over. Okay, yes, that's the correct answer. Is over. The other answers are not correct. Who's your favorite drag queen?
Suzette Veneti.
Aww.
Probably followed by Apple Adams. I love Apple to death. I met Apple at one of the Shoes on the Other Foot shows too, and she is incredible.
Apple is incredible. She might be my favorite drag queen, and probably that's a better answer than me. So I will endorse that. I'll endorse both your answers as favorite comic Kyrie, favorite drag queen Apple. Do you have a favorite drag king?
Ooh, I actually don't. There was one I really liked, but I forgot what his name was.
Okay,
so I'll get back to you on that.
I'll recommend one, a local one for you, Justin Timbersnake.
Ooh, I will check him out.
I think you'd like Justin. Do you think I'm pretty?
I think you're gorgeous.
Thank you. And then my last question for you is, when all of this is over and we go back to a new normal, an old normal, a normal norm, whatever we go to, whatever we settle on, and we can go back in person, what are you most looking forward to?
Brunch and traveling.
Yeah. Where are you going to go?
I really want to go to the coast. I want to go back to Japan. I want to go to Hawaii. The sky is the limit. Well, not now, but in the future.
Right. Be careful. We had Cheryl Anderson on the show a couple episodes ago, and she came back from Japan. And then for some reason, she explained why, but she came back. She flew into LAX. She drove to Sacramento, drove back to LA, and then drove back to Sacramento. And then she got what I'm assuming is global transient amnesia. Oh
my God.
Yeah. So just be careful on that re-entry after traveling, that you take it easy for like a day or two.
Yeah. Must be those microchips or the 5G.
you'll have good reception. And then we'll have to get you to a brunch. It'll be fun, and I'll have to do the shoe show when we can do shows again.
Yay!
Nicole, thank you for coming on the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I had a blast, and I hope everyone else watching had fun too.
I hope so too. People can look you up. They can find you on the Pun Show and Willie Listen, and in the future in a shoe show. And I'll see you and talk to you later. Oh, remind me to tell you a couple things. whatever I was going to tell you. I can't remember anymore. That's how it works.
All right,
I'm
perfect.
old.
Sounds
All right.
good.
Bye. Love you.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
All right, everybody. That was Nicole Eichenberg. She is a medical assistant 1. She got the vaccine, and she's open to talking about it if anyone has concerns or questions. And thank you to her for coming on the show. With that, we are going to go with her first friend in stand-up comedy, the tragic and always disappointing to me, David Shapiro. Hi, David. How are you? What are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you? Well, I'm not okay, actually. That's what I was going to talk about. I am experiencing actual regular depression symptoms. I don't usually get those, and it's been interesting because, everyone gets the seasonal depression, SAD. It's the acronym, seasonal affective depression.
That's not what it
Or
stands
not everyone, but a lot of people get it, and, usually my depression is different and more jovial, but lately it's been hard to do anything. Get up off the couch, run errands, eat, sleep, wake up, exercise. It's been hard to do anything,
You look like you
actually.
haven't slept or exercised.
And that's why I wasn't here for your show last week, and so I didn't want to miss it a second week in a row.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That was, great.
Getting dressed has been hard.
Oh.
Just depression is a bear, and I just wanted to tell your viewers, if they're watching, it's okay to be
if they're viewers.
for some self-care, especially this year. Everyone acknowledges this year that everyone's been like, oh my god, mental health is a real thing, not like people that have depression and mental health challenges. But, everyone else has been like, whoa, it is real. I have anxiety, too, for the first time in my life. I'm scared to go outside, or I'm scared about the future. And all the depressed people have been like, yeah, this is kind of what we do every day. And they've been like, no kidding. This is what you do every... Wow. This is overwhelming. And we've been like, yes, it is. It's quite a lot, actually. So, to the viewers that have had mental health challenges in the past, whatever helps, go easy on yourself is what I want to say. Go easy on yourself. Don't be mad at yourself if you don't get stuff done, and just try to get one thing done is what I've been trying to do. Just one next thing, like Anna, like Princess Anna says in Frozen 2, just the next right thing. That's all you can do. It's where I get my inspiration from Disney sequels. Right. Also, I've been looking for a new place to live. My rent's really expensive, and my requirements are kind of high. Hurdles. They're challenging
bougie.
hurdles because I got dogs and I need washer and dryer in unit, and then I don't know, do you want to you leave enough stuff at my place, do you want to actually be a roommate?
No.
Okay. So, just challenges that I have.
Good luck.
And yeah, I don't have much more. That's about it. Was anything going on with you? How are you doing with the holidays?
I'm okay. A little bit lonely and sad, not traveling to
I really
family.
don't care, actually.
Oh.
Because you wouldn't care if you asked me. But I do care about you, I guess. I just don't care to hear your answer. I support you, though. I'm here for you. I don't know, man. You do you.
Okay.
But like, I don't know what I'm trying to end it now, and I'm just not in a fantastic mood. So I'm gonna go to sleep, and that might help. That's something I've learned, is sleeping when I'm really like, that's the regular depression symptoms that I've been experiencing lately. Like sleeping, I need to do it sometimes, and when I'm really 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 low, I sleep, and it doesn't help me. I don't wake up in a better place, but it does help take away that like super low, if that makes sense. I'm kind of looking at it like that.
Okay,
So,
get some sleep.
I'm gonna go.
You look
This was
haggard.
short. Sorry. Maybe next week we can talk more about looking for apartments.
If you want to.
Or I don't know. I toyed around with talking about actually talking about dating. I know you and Chelsea talk about dating.
We do.
A lot, and you've wanted me to talk about dating before. I don't want to do both either talk about dating or date. Actually, I mean, I do want to date. I just don't want to get rejected on a mass level from
you will.
people, from strangers. I don't want total strangers to reject me because I'm funny looking, or because I'm crazy. That's what my job is for as an actor. Auditions, you get rejected a lot, but on a personal basis, I don't. I'm rambling now, and I said goodbye like 2 minutes ago. So maybe next week we'll just pick up somewhere. Cool?
Sounds great. Thanks.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, have a Happy New Year. Happy New Year to Stab and to Jesse. And thanks.
Happy New Year to you.
Yeah. All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Okay. Hopefully he gets some sleep. David Shapiro, everybody. You can find his information below him. Once again, Stab Comedy Theater's information is above my head. Support this theater. I love it. Thank you, Jesse, for letting us do the show and being here. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to Chelsea, Clifton, Mean Dave, who wasn't here, and Nicole. Thank you to all of them for showing up. And we'll be back on January 3rd with Oliver Graves, America's Got Talent's comedian Oliver Graves. See you then.